Ladies and gentlemen, as we stand on the brink of 2025, let me ask you something. Who are you living for? Who gets your energy, your time, and your focus? Is it your critics, your distractions, or your doubts? Or is it you? Because 2025 isn't just another year on the calendar, it's your year. It's time to stop looking left and right, to silence the noise around you, and to focus solely, unapologetically, on yourself. In 2025, one of the most essential actions you can take is to prioritize yourself. For far too long, many of us have been caught up in the needs and desires of others, often at the expense of our own well-being, happiness, and growth. We live in a world where we are constantly told to care for everyone else, to meet the expectations of our family, friends, and society, and to constantly give of ourselves. While helping others is important, it's also crucial to understand that you cannot pour from an empty cup. To truly be able to show up for others in a meaningful way, you must first show up for yourself. Focusing on yourself is not about being selfish or neglecting the people around you. It is about ensuring that you are in the best possible position to give your best self to the world. The truth is, you can't give what you don't have. If you're running on empty, feeling drained or overwhelmed, you're not able to be the best partner, parent, friend, or professional that you can be. By focusing on yourself, you're taking the necessary steps to fill your own cup, whether that's through self-care, self-improvement, or setting the right goals for your life. Taking the time to prioritize yourself starts with self-awareness. Many people rush through life without taking a moment to reflect on their true needs, desires, or aspirations. Life becomes a series of tasks, and we often move from one obligation to the next without really checking in with ourselves. But when you make the commitment to prioritize yourself, the first step is to truly understand where you are, what you want, and what you need to feel whole. This process of self-reflection can look different for everyone, but it typically involves some quiet time for contemplation and a deep dive into your own heart and mind. It means asking yourself the tough questions. What do I truly want out of life? What are my goals and dreams? What do I need to feel balanced, fulfilled, and at peace? What areas of my life need attention, healing, or improvement? This kind of reflection isn't always easy, and it may uncover things you've been avoiding, but it is a crucial step in taking control of your own destiny. Prioritizing yourself also requires setting clear, intentional goals. Many people go through life without a clear sense of direction, allowing themselves to be swept along by external circumstances or the needs of others. But when you focus on yourself, you take ownership of your future. You become intentional about the choices you make and the direction you want your life to go in. Whether it's your career, your relationships, your health, or your personal development, setting goals gives you something to strive for. It helps you stay grounded and motivated even during tough times. More importantly, setting and achieving personal goals boosts your confidence and reinforces the belief that you are in control of your life. However, this is where the challenge comes in. It's easy to set goals, but sticking to them and taking consistent action is where most people fall short. This is why prioritizing yourself also involves developing the discipline to follow through. The world is full of distractions, and it's easy to get sidetracked by things that don't contribute to your personal growth. But if you want to focus on yourself, you need to be relentless in pursuing the things that matter to you. This requires a level of commitment that most people don't fully appreciate until they put it into practice. For example, prioritizing your health may mean committing to a regular exercise routine, making healthier food choices, or getting enough rest. It may involve making tough decisions to let go of habits that no longer serve you, but every step you take towards improving your health is an investment in yourself. The same applies to your career. Taking the necessary steps to advance in your field, acquire new skills, or take on new challenges is a reflection of prioritizing your growth and well-being. And in your relationships, prioritizing yourself means setting boundaries, communicating your needs, and creating space for the people who uplift and support you. Prioritizing yourself also means taking time for self-care. Many people dismiss self-care as a luxury, something that can be done when there's time, but the truth is, self-care is a necessity. It's about making sure you're physically, emotionally, and mentally well so that you can function at your highest level. This could mean different things for different people, whether it's spending time alone to recharge, engaging in a hobby you love, or practicing mindfulness and meditation to maintain your mental health. Whatever it looks like, self-care allows you to nurture yourself so that you can continue to show up fully for others and for your goals. Focusing on yourself also requires a level of self-compassion. Many of us are our own harshest critics. We demand perfection from ourselves, and when we fall short, we can be quick to judge ourselves. But when you prioritize yourself, you start to approach life with a greater sense of kindness and grace. You give yourself permission to fail, to make mistakes, and to grow from them. Instead of beating yourself up when things don't go as planned, you learn to be gentle with yourself, recognizing that you're doing the best you can and that growth takes time. Ultimately, focusing on yourself in 2025 is about taking responsibility for your own happiness and success. It's about acknowledging that no one else is going to do this for you. It's easy to blame circumstances, other people, or even fate for where we are in life. But when you prioritize yourself, you take full ownership of your journey. You understand that your happiness, your success, and your fulfillment are all in your hands. And the more you focus on becoming the best version of yourself, the more you'll see that everything else will begin to fall into place. In the end, prioritizing yourself isn't about being self-centered. It's about recognizing that you are worthy of the time, energy, and effort it takes to become the best version of yourself. When you focus on your growth, your peace, and your well-being, you create the foundation for a life that is fulfilling, balanced, and aligned with your purpose. And as you do so, you'll discover that not only will your life improve, but you will be in a better position to impact the lives of those around you in the most meaningful way. Distractions are one of the biggest challenges we face when it comes to achieving personal growth and staying focused on our goals. Every day, the world bombards us with messages, demands, and opinions that can easily pull us away from the things that truly matter to us. We live in an age where distractions are more abundant than ever. Whether it's social media, constant notifications, or the pressure to compare ourselves to others, it's easy to get sidetracked and lose sight of our own path. But to make 2025 a year of transformation, it's crucial that we learn to avoid distractions and focus on the things that will move us closer to the life we want. One of the first steps in overcoming distractions is recognizing them for what they are. Distractions often appear harmless at first. A quick check of your phone for messages can easily turn into an hour of scrolling through social media. What starts as a momentary diversion can quickly eat up your time and energy, pulling you away from the work and goals that actually matter. These distractions are like little detours that delay your progress, often leaving you feeling drained and unproductive. It's important to understand that while some distractions might feel urgent, they rarely are. The world can make you feel as if you need to respond to everything immediately. But the truth is, not everything requires your attention at that very moment. Recognizing what is truly urgent versus what is merely a distraction is key to reclaiming your time. The pressure to compare yourself to others is another major source of distraction. With the rise of social media, it's easier than ever to see what everyone else is doing and to measure your own success against theirs. We see people traveling the world, achieving career milestones, or posting about their accomplishments, and we start to feel like we're falling behind. This comparison game is one of the most insidious distractions because it pulls our focus away from our own path and places it on someone else's. When we are constantly looking at the success of others, we forget to focus on the steps we need to take to achieve our own goals. It's important to remind ourselves that everyone has a different journey. Just because someone else is ahead of you in one area of life doesn't mean you are any less capable or worthy of success. It simply means that your path and your timeline are unique to you. To truly focus on your own life, you need to develop a mindset that helps you ignore the noise. This means making intentional decisions about where you place your energy. It means setting boundaries and saying no to the things that do not align with your values or goals. For example, if you find that social media is consistently pulling you away from your work or distracting you from your personal growth, it may be time to reevaluate your usage. You don't have to completely cut yourself off from the world, But you do need to control how much time you give to these distractions. Limit the time you spend on social media, turn off notifications, and set specific times to check your emails or messages. This simple change can free up a lot of mental space, allowing you to put your energy into the things that truly matter. Another powerful way to avoid distractions is to create a structured daily routine. Distractions thrive in chaos. When you don't have a clear structure or plan for your day, it's easy for small things to pull your attention in multiple directions. However, when you take the time to set intentional goals and structure your day around those goals, it becomes much easier to stay focused. Start each day by identifying the top 3 tasks you want to accomplish and make those your priority. These tasks should be aligned with your larger goals and should move you forward in the direction you want to go. By focusing on these key tasks, you create a sense of purpose and direction for your day, which makes it much easier to avoid distractions. But it's not just about managing your time, it's also about managing your environment. If your workspace or living environment is cluttered and disorganized, it becomes a constant source of distraction. A messy environment can cloud your mind and make it difficult to concentrate. One of the best ways to combat this is to create an environment that supports your focus. Organize your space so that everything you need to do your work is within easy reach, and eliminate any unnecessary distractions. Whether it's cleaning up your desk, minimizing the clutter on your phone, or creating a quiet place to focus, an organized environment can help you stay on track and reduce the temptation to get distracted. Mindfulness is another key element in overcoming distractions. When we are constantly distracted, we lose touch with the present moment. We may find ourselves going through the motions of life without fully engaging in what we're doing. Mindfulness, however, is the practice of staying present and aware of what's happening right now. It means paying attention to your thoughts, your actions, and your environment in a focused and intentional way. When you practice mindfulness, you are less likely to be pulled off course by external distractions because you are grounded in the present moment. This doesn't mean you have to meditate for hours every day, but it does mean taking moments throughout the day to center yourself, breathe deeply, and refocus your mind on what's important. Another powerful tool for minimizing distractions is learning how to embrace focus in short bursts. Trying to work for hours on end without a break can lead to burnout and decreased productivity. Instead, consider using techniques like the Pomodoro technique, where you work in focused 25-minute intervals, followed by a 5-minute break. These short bursts of concentrated work can help you stay focused while preventing exhaustion. You'll find that you're able to achieve more in less time when you embrace this method, and the built-in breaks help you stay refreshed and motivated. Ultimately, avoiding distractions requires intentional effort and discipline. It's about recognizing that your time, your energy, and your attention are valuable resources that should be used wisely. In a world full of distractions, it's easy to be pulled in 1,000 different directions, but it's important to remind yourself that your journey is your own. The only way to make meaningful progress toward your goals is to stay focused on what matters most to you. When you put your energy into the things that will move you closer to your vision, the distractions will begin to lose their power. Focus on your goals, silence the noise, and keep your eyes fixed on the path ahead. In 2025, it's time to dedicate ourselves to deep personal work that isn't always visible to the outside world, but is essential for our own growth and transformation. This is about diving into the parts of ourselves that need healing, addressing the wounds we've been carrying, and letting go of the burdens that have been holding us back. It's time to focus on the emotional and mental work that allows us to become the best versions of ourselves. Personal growth isn't just about achieving external success. It's about creating inner peace and strength that will carry us through life's challenges. One of the most important aspects of this deep personal work is healing. Many of us have experienced pain in our lives, whether it's from childhood experiences, past relationships, or the weight of failure. Often we carry these scars with us, unaware of how much they influence our current decisions, behavior, and attitudes. The emotional baggage we accumulate over time can cloud our judgment and prevent us from fully stepping into the life we are meant to live. To focus on ourselves in 2025, we need to confront these past hurts and allow ourselves the space to heal. Healing isn't always an easy process. It requires vulnerability, honesty, and a willingness to face the pain head on. Sometimes healing means allowing yourself to feel emotions that you've been avoiding. It means acknowledging the hurt, sitting with it, and letting it pass. This may involve seeking therapy, talking to someone you trust, or simply reflecting on your experiences and learning from them. The goal is not to erase the pain, but to understand it, learn from it, and then release it. When we do this, we free ourselves from the chains of the past and give ourselves the opportunity to move forward with a clean slate. Another important aspect of deep personal work is forgiveness. It's often said that forgiveness is for the person doing the forgiving, not the one being forgiven. This is because holding on to grudges, anger, or resentment only weighs us down. It keeps us tied to people and situations that no longer serve us. In 2025, we must make the conscious decision to forgive, not because the other person necessarily deserves it, but because we deserve peace. Forgiveness is a gift we give ourselves. It allows us to release the negative emotions that are holding us captive and move forward with a heart that is free of bitterness. Forgiving others can be incredibly challenging, especially when the hurt is deep or when the person who wronged us hasn't asked for forgiveness. But remember, forgiveness isn't about condoning the behavior or excusing what happened. It's about letting go of the grip that the past has on you. It's about freeing yourself from the anger, the blame, and the resentment that are preventing you from living fully in the present. In some cases, forgiveness may even mean forgiving yourself, releasing the guilt, shame, or self-blame that you've been carrying. This is a powerful act of self-love and self-compassion that will allow you to step into 2025 with greater clarity and strength. Self-acceptance is another critical component of deep personal work. For many of us, there's a constant pressure to be more, do more, and achieve more. We can become so focused on what we're not yet that we forget to appreciate and accept who we are right now. In 2025, one of the most important acts of self-care and growth is to accept yourself fully, flaws, imperfections, and all. This doesn't mean that we stop striving to improve or grow, but it does mean that we stop beating ourselves up for not being perfect. Embracing our own humanity, our mistakes, and our shortcomings is a key step in creating inner peace. We are all a work in progress, and that's okay. Self-acceptance means loving yourself through the process of becoming, without judgment or self-criticism. This work of deep personal growth also involves shedding old beliefs and patterns that no longer serve us. Many of us are held back by limiting beliefs, thoughts like, I'm not good enough, I don't deserve success, or I'll never be able to change. These beliefs often stem from past experiences, societal expectations, or messages we received when we were younger. But the truth is, these beliefs are not facts. They are simply stories we've told ourselves over time, and they can be rewritten. To focus on ourselves in 2025, we need to examine these beliefs and replace them with empowering ones. We must challenge the thoughts that hold us back and adopt a mindset that supports our growth and potential. Releasing old patterns is also an important part of personal growth. Many of us operate on autopilot, repeating habits, behaviors, and responses that we learned early in life. These patterns may have served us in the past, but they often hinder our progress today. Whether it's a pattern of procrastination, negative self-talk, or toxic relationships, we must be willing to break free from these cycles in order to create new, healthier ones. This requires self-awareness, courage, and commitment. It means stepping outside of our comfort zones and doing things differently, even when it feels uncomfortable or unfamiliar. But when we make the effort to change our habits, we begin to create a life that reflects our true desires and values. Another crucial part of deep personal work is setting clear intentions for the future. It's not enough to simply heal and forgive. We must also have a vision for where we want to go. In 2025, focus on creating a life that aligns with your values, passions, and purpose. This means identifying what truly matters to you and making intentional choices that reflect those priorities. Setting intentions helps guide your actions and decisions, giving you a clear sense of direction as you move forward. It's about being deliberate in the way you show up for yourself and for the world. Finally, deep personal work is an ongoing process. It's not something that happens overnight, and it's not a one-time event. Personal growth requires continual reflection, self-care, and commitment. It means checking in with yourself regularly, evaluating where you are, and making adjustments as needed. But when you commit to this work, the rewards are immeasurable. You will develop greater resilience, a stronger sense of self, and a deeper connection to your purpose. The inner strength you cultivate through this process will not only help you navigate the challenges of life, but will also empower you to live more authentically, confidently, and with greater peace. In 2025, commit to the deep personal work that will transform you from the inside out. It's time to heal, forgive, accept, and grow. The process may be challenging, but the results will be worth it. Focus on yourself and watch as you become the person you were always meant to be. Setting boundaries is one of the most powerful tools you can use to prioritize your own growth and well-being in 2025. In a world that constantly demands your time and attention, learning to say no, or at the very least, learning to say not right now, is essential. Boundaries are not about shutting people out or building walls around yourself. They are about ensuring that you have the space to live your life in alignment with your values, goals, and emotional needs. Without boundaries, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, drained, and stuck as you're pulled in every direction by the demands of others, leaving little time or energy for what truly matters to you. The first step in setting boundaries is understanding that they are a necessary and healthy part of any relationship, whether it's with your family, friends, colleagues, or even yourself. The misconception many people have is that setting boundaries is selfish or confrontational. However, boundaries are, in fact, an act of self-respect. By setting clear limits with others, you are teaching them how to treat you, while also showing yourself that your needs are valid and deserve to be respected. When you fail to set boundaries, you send the message either consciously or unconsciously that your needs don't matter as much as everyone else's, and this can lead to burnout, resentment, and emotional exhaustion. Boundaries are personal, and what works for one person may not work for another. What's important is that you take the time to define what your boundaries are, based on your own needs and priorities. This may involve thinking about the areas of your life where you feel drained or overextended. For instance, you may find that you're saying yes to requests from others out of a sense of obligation, even when you know you don't have the time or energy to commit. Or perhaps you're in relationships that feel one-sided or toxic, where you're constantly giving and not receiving the same level of respect or care. In both of these cases, boundaries are essential to protect your emotional well-being and create a healthier, more balanced dynamic. One of the most common challenges people face when setting boundaries is fear of conflict. Many of us have been conditioned to believe that saying no will disappoint others or create tension in our relationships. But the truth is, setting boundaries is an act of honesty. And while it may cause discomfort in the short term, it fosters healthier, more authentic relationships in the long run. When you are clear about your limits, you allow others to respect your time and energy, and you encourage a level of mutual respect that strengthens the connection. Boundaries actually prevent resentment from building up, as they allow you to express your needs before you reach the point of frustration. A key part of setting boundaries is learning to say no without guilt. Often, people struggle to say no because they fear being perceived as selfish or unkind. However, saying no is not about rejecting the other person. It's about making a conscious choice to honor your own needs. You are not obligated to say yes to every request or to meet every expectation others have of you. Saying no allows you to conserve your time and energy for the things that matter most to you, whether it's your health, your personal goals, or your loved ones. Saying no is also a way of showing up for yourself, as it gives you the time and space to recharge, focus, and do the things that will help you grow. Another essential aspect of setting boundaries is being clear and direct about your needs. It's not enough to simply know what your boundaries are. You must also be able to communicate them effectively. This may feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you're not used to being assertive, but the more you practice setting clear boundaries, the easier it will become. Being direct doesn't mean being rude or confrontational. It means expressing your needs in a way that was firm yet respectful. For example, if you're overburdened with work and need time for yourself, you might say, "I'm currently at capacity with my workload. so I won't be able to take on any additional projects at the moment. I need to focus on what I've already committed to. It's important to be polite but unwavering in your communication, as this shows others that you value your time and are taking responsibility for your own well-being. Setting boundaries isn't just about what you say to others, it's also about what you allow yourself to do. This includes setting limits on your time, your energy, and your emotional resources. For instance, you might need to set boundaries around how much time you spend on work or with others, especially if you feel that you're constantly giving without taking the time to care for yourself. It's important to recognize when you're giving too much and when it's time to say no to things that are not serving you. Setting boundaries with yourself also means holding yourself accountable to your own goals and values. It means making sure that your actions align with your priorities and not letting distractions or unhealthy habits take you off course. In addition to setting boundaries with others, it's important to recognize that boundaries should also apply to the way you treat yourself. Many people struggle with self-boundaries, allowing themselves to overwork, neglect their health, or ignore their emotional needs. Setting boundaries with yourself involves creating healthy habits that support your well-being, such as establishing a routine that includes regular exercise, proper nutrition, and time for rest and relaxation. It also means learning to listen to your body and mind, recognizing when you're feeling overwhelmed or stressed, and taking steps to address it before it becomes too much. Self-boundaries are about prioritizing your own health and happiness, and not allowing external pressures or negative self-talk to dictate your actions. As you begin to set boundaries, remember that they are not rigid or permanent. They can and should be adjusted as your life changes. Life is dynamic, and what worked for you at one point may no longer serve you as your circumstances evolve. Being flexible and willing to reassess your boundaries is key to maintaining balance and ensuring that your boundaries continue to reflect your current needs and priorities. It's also important to remember that setting boundaries doesn't mean isolating yourself from others. Rather, it's about creating a healthy balance between your needs and the needs of others, ensuring that you can show up for the people who matter to you without losing sight of your own well-being. In 2025, setting boundaries is a crucial step in focusing on yourself and living a more intentional, fulfilled life. It's about taking responsibility for your own well-being and making sure that you have the time, energy, and space to pursue your own goals. By setting clear and healthy boundaries, you create a life that is aligned with your values and your aspirations. Boundaries protect your emotional health, foster authentic relationships, and allow you to live with greater clarity and purpose. They are not obstacles to connection, but rather the foundation for deeper, more meaningful connections with others and with yourself. In 2025, it's essential to remember that focusing on yourself involves cultivating a deep sense of self-care. Often we hear the word self-care, but it's not always clear what that really means beyond taking an occasional bubble bath or treating yourself to a nice meal. True self-care goes far beyond temporary indulgences. It is about adopting practices that nourish and sustain your mental, emotional, and physical well-being in a way that is lasting and truly beneficial. Focusing on self-care means taking deliberate actions to maintain your health, to manage your stress, and to ensure that your energy and mindset are aligned with your deepest values and goals. One of the first elements of self-care is understanding its holistic nature. It's easy to view self-care as just a physical practice, something like getting enough sleep or exercising regularly. While these aspects are important, self-care encompasses so much more. Emotional self-care, for instance, is about tending to your mental health. It means acknowledging your emotions, giving yourself permission to feel, and taking steps to manage your mental state in a healthy way. This can include activities such as journaling, seeking therapy, practicing mindfulness, or simply taking time to reflect on your feelings. Emotional self-care helps you stay grounded and connected to your own inner world, which is vital for navigating life's challenges and maintaining a sense of peace. Mental self-care is another aspect that should not be overlooked. The mind is a powerful tool, but it can also be a source of strain, especially if we are constantly bombarded by stress, negativity, or excessive information. In 2025, mental self-care means learning how to quiet the mind and declutter your thoughts. It may involve engaging in activities that sharpen your focus, such as reading, solving puzzles, or learning a new skill. But it's also about creating mental space to simply be. Taking moments to pause and breathe deeply can be a form of self-care that refreshes the mind and helps prevent burnout. One of the greatest threats to mental well-being is overstimulation and constant mental exhaustion. So in 2025, we must prioritize slowing down and giving our minds the rest they need to function at their best. Physical self-care is, of course, critical in this process as well. Many people overlook how integral physical well-being is to overall health. When we neglect our bodies, whether it's through lack of exercise, poor nutrition, or insufficient sleep, we put ourselves at risk for both short-term fatigue and long-term health issues. In 2025, it's important to create a physical self-care routine that works for you, whether it's through regular exercise, healthy eating, or ensuring you're getting the quality sleep your body needs to recharge. Physical self-care also means listening to your body. If you're feeling run down, it's okay to rest. If you're noticing signs of stress, it's essential to take action and manage it through activities like yoga, walking, or simply relaxing. By taking care of your physical health, you increase your energy, focus, and ability to handle stress, which ultimately supports every other aspect of your life. Part of self-care involves learning to manage stress effectively. Life in 2025 is increasingly fast-paced, and the demands on our time and energy can feel overwhelming. Stress, if left unchecked, can manifest in a number of ways, both physically and emotionally. Managing stress is not just about eliminating it completely, it's about learning how to cope with it in healthy ways. This could mean establishing stress relief practices that work best for you, such as mindfulness, deep breathing exercises, physical exercise, or creative outlets. Finding a stress management routine that works for your lifestyle is key to preventing burnout and maintaining a sense of balance. Creating boundaries in your life is also a vital form of self-care. As we discussed earlier, boundaries are a powerful tool for protecting your energy and ensuring that you don't stretch yourself too thin. Boundaries are an act of self-respect, helping you define what is acceptable and what is not in your relationships and your professional life. They allow you to protect your time and prioritize your well-being. In 2025, self-care means learning how to say no when you need to without guilt. It means protecting your personal time and space, ensuring that you have the mental and emotional energy to pursue the things that matter most to you. Boundaries can be physical, such as setting aside time for yourself, or emotional, like distancing yourself from negative influences or toxic environments. One of the often overlooked aspects of self-care is social self-care. It's easy to become so focused on individual growth that we forget how important it is to nurture our relationships. Humans are social beings, and positive relationships are key to our emotional and mental health. In 2025, social self-care means making an effort to surround yourself with people who support and uplift you. It means building meaningful connections with others and creating a strong support network, whether it's through family, friends, or community groups. Socializing with people who share your values and provide encouragement is an essential part of self-care. Equally important is recognizing when certain relationships are draining or toxic and taking steps to distance yourself from them. Protecting your emotional energy means evaluating the people you spend time with and ensuring that your relationships are mutually beneficial. Self-compassion is also a vital aspect of self-care. In a world where we are constantly encouraged to be productive and achieve more, it's easy to fall into the trap of self-criticism. However, self-compassion involves treating yourself with kindness and understanding, especially during times of struggle or failure. Instead of berating yourself for mistakes or shortcomings, self-compassion allows you to approach yourself with the same understanding you would offer a friend in need. It's about recognizing that everyone faces difficulties and that it's okay to not be perfect. In 2025, it's essential to practice self-compassion regularly, allowing yourself room to grow, learn, and evolve without harsh judgment. By being kind to yourself, you cultivate an environment of emotional safety that allows you to take risks, make mistakes, and ultimately thrive. Lastly, self-care also means nurturing your passions and interests. In the hustle and bustle of daily life, it's easy to lose sight of what brings you joy. Making time for the things you love, whether it's painting, writing, cooking, or pursuing a hobby, is essential for maintaining a sense of fulfillment. Passionate pursuits provide an outlet for creativity and help you recharge emotionally and mentally. By prioritizing these activities, you remind yourself that your happiness and well-being are worth investing in. In 2025, focusing on yourself through self-care is more than just an occasional treat or luxury. It is a necessity for long-term growth and well-being. Self-care is the foundation of a healthy, fulfilling life. It empowers you to maintain balance, protect your energy, and stay aligned with your goals. By nurturing your mental, emotional, and physical health, you give yourself the best chance to thrive in every area of life. The best investment you can make is in yourself, and self-care is the way to ensure that you have the energy, strength, and resilience to navigate whatever comes your way. In 2025, focusing on yourself means embracing personal accountability and taking responsibility for your own life. Personal accountability is the foundation upon which growth is built. It's about recognizing that you are in charge of your actions, your choices, and the direction your life takes. In a world where it's easy to place blame on external factors or circumstances, holding yourself accountable empowers you to make meaningful changes and take control of your destiny. In essence, accountability is about stepping into your full potential, recognizing that while you can control everything that happens around you, you have the power to control how you respond, what you do, and who you become. When you take responsibility for your life, you stop being a passive participant in your own story. You stop waiting for someone else to change things for you or for circumstances to magically improve. Instead, you take deliberate action. This doesn't mean you're alone in your journey or that you should never seek help. It simply means that you take ownership of your choices and the outcomes they produce. Every decision you make, no matter how small, contributes to the life you're building. In 2025, it's important to understand that personal accountability is not about perfection, but about making intentional choices, learning gently from mistakes, and improving along the way. One of the first steps in embracing personal accountability is letting go of the habit of blaming others for your circumstances. It's easy to fall into the trap of pointing fingers when things don't go as planned. Perhaps you blame your job, your upbringing, or the people in your life for your lack of progress. While external factors certainly influence our lives, we can't allow them to dictate our future. Taking accountability means recognizing that no matter what has happened to you, you still have the power to change your current reality. The way you respond to challenges, setbacks, and disappointments is within your control. It's about shifting your mindset from one of victimhood to one of empowerment. When you realize that you hold the key to your success and happiness, you begin to see obstacles not as insurmountable barriers, but as opportunities for growth and learning. In order to embrace personal accountability, you must also be willing to accept the consequences of your choices. This is where maturity comes into play. It's easy to take credit for your successes, but true accountability requires you to take responsibility for your mistakes and failures as well. Instead of avoiding blame or deflecting criticism, you own your mistakes, reflect on them, and learn from them. When you accept responsibility for your actions, you stop playing the blame game and start becoming proactive in making the necessary changes to improve. This level of honesty with yourself builds integrity, a key trait for personal growth. Accountability is also tied to the commitments you make, both to yourself and to others. When you commit to something, whether it's a goal, a relationship, or a responsibility, you must hold yourself accountable to follow through. In 2025, it's crucial to evaluate your commitments and ensure that they align with your values and priorities. The more committed you are to the things that truly matter to you, the more invested you'll be in taking the necessary actions to achieve them. Accountability means doing what you said you would do, even when it's challenging or inconvenient. It's about developing discipline and consistency to stay on course, even when the road gets tough. When you show up for yourself and others, You reinforce your own sense of integrity and reliability, which in turn fosters trust and respect in your relationships. Another critical aspect of personal accountability is learning to manage your time effectively. Time is a precious resource, and how you choose to spend it speaks volumes about your priorities. In 2025, being accountable means being intentional with your time, choosing to invest in activities and habits that align with your long-term goals and values. Time management involves setting clear goals, breaking them down into actionable steps, and holding yourself accountable to follow through. This also means saying no to distractions, unproductive habits, and activities that do not contribute to your overall well-being. When you take responsibility for how you spend your time, you give yourself the opportunity to accomplish more and focus on what truly matters. Time is one of the few resources you can never get back, so using it wisely is one of the most important aspects of personal accountability. One of the biggest challenges in embracing personal accountability is overcoming the fear of failure. Many people avoid taking responsibility for their actions because they fear that they won't succeed or that they will make mistakes. This fear can paralyze you and prevent you from making the necessary changes or taking the necessary risks to move forward. But failure is not something to fear. It is an inevitable part of life. When you take personal accountability, you acknowledge that mistakes will happen, but they don't define you. Instead of fearing failure, you see it as a learning experience, a chance to grow, adapt, and try again with more knowledge and wisdom. In 2025, personal accountability means having the courage to take risks, make decisions, and step into the unknown, knowing that failure is just another step on the path to success. In addition to embracing your own accountability, it's important to hold yourself accountable for your emotional well-being. Emotions are an integral part of the human experience, but they are not always easy to manage. In many situations, we can fall into reactive patterns, allowing our emotions to dictate our behavior. However, personal accountability in the emotional realm means taking responsibility for your feelings and your responses. This involves recognizing when your emotions are getting the best of you and taking steps to regulate them in a healthy way. It may involve practicing mindfulness, seeking support, or engaging in activities that help you process your emotions constructively. When you take ownership of your emotional state, you stop being a victim of your circumstances and become empowered to choose how you respond to life's challenges. Personal accountability also requires a commitment to growth and self-improvement. This means that you must continuously assess yourself, your habits, and your progress. In 2025, take the time to reflect on your life, what's working and what's not. Are your actions aligned with your values? Are you making progress toward your goals? What changes do you need to make to improve? Personal accountability means not shying away from self-reflection, even when it's uncomfortable. It's about being honest with yourself and identifying areas where you can improve, grow, and develop further. By committing to continuous growth, you ensure that you are always moving toward your highest potential. Finally, personal accountability is deeply connected to self-compassion. While it's important to hold yourself accountable, it's equally important to be kind to yourself along the way. You will make mistakes, face setbacks, and experience difficult moments, but these are all part of the process. Accountability is not about being harsh on yourself or expecting perfection. It's about being kind and understanding as you navigate the ups and downs of life while still taking responsibility for your actions. By practicing self-compassion, you can avoid the trap of self-blame and negative self-talk, which can undermine your progress. Instead, you approach yourself with kindness, understanding, and a commitment to do better next time. In 2025, embracing personal accountability is one of the most powerful ways to take control of your life. It's about owning your decisions, learning from your mistakes, and taking action toward your goals. Accountability is the key to unlocking your potential, ensuring that you don't just let life happen to you, but that you actively shape your own path. When you step into full accountability, you embrace your power to create the life you want without relying on external circumstances or other people to determine your success.